And from there, we continue with the coverage of this incident that happened in Bree. Katlego Ligodi is standing by. Katlego, good morning. Tell us about what you can see from your vantage point.
A very good morning to you, Eldrin, and to our viewers at home. You're right, we're coming to you live this morning from corner Bree Street and Elof Street in the Johannesburg CBD. This is the central business district where Johannesburg is concerned, and you'd expect to see a hive of activity around this time. A lot of people moving up and down, businesses operating, and you'd expect to see taxis just ferrying people from one point to the next. But that is not the case this morning where this is concerned, Eldrin. Just moving along this street, you'd see a variety of just shops that have closed today for business. When you look at activity that was supposed to happen here, also remembering that Gauteng contributes about 35% into the country's GDP. So this just lack of movement in terms of business activity is just having a little bit of an impact, really, where the contribution to the country's GDP is concerned. I'm just going to step out of shot right now from my colleague Stilo to show you what is happening behind us. These are the shops that have closed today for business as per the order, or really the order coming from the authorities that are here on the ground. They've been here from last night already trying to ascertain in terms of what happened here, but most of those stores are closed as we speak right now. I'm seeing Akona Furniture's closed, a PQ closed, I'm seeing a Pep Store closed, I'm seeing Ali Super Savers closed, I'm speaking FNB, the bank has been closed as we speak right now. So most of these businesses are not able to operate and function, and this is where also on this stretch of the road, Eldrin, every single day without fail, you'll also see street vendors that are on the side trying to sell, fat cakes, trying by all means to get the best out of what is happening where the economy is concerned. But even those today have not been able, Eldrin, to just come through to carry on with their businesses. As you can imagine, that the police have cordoned off most of this area for safety concerns. As we speak right now, you can imagine that this gas that is lingering in the air, and people just called for safety. We are reminded to just basically take off those masks and start wearing those masks as we speak right now. I have mine in the pocket as we speak right now, just for safety precautions, because we don't know what we're dealing with right now. Authorities are on the ground trying by all means to ascertain what might have happened here. But as those authorities continue with their work on the ground, we also have political parties, Eldrin, that are here also trying to play an oversight role in terms of what happened here. I'm going to bring into the conversation now the Gauteng chairperson of Action SA, being Mr. Funzela Ngobeni, who joins us this morning to just let us in on your role here as Action SA. We are seeing that you are conducting an oversight, worried really around the lack of business activity along this stretch of the road, and as the work continues to try bottom of what happened here. Just react with us, your observation so far in terms of what has happened here from last night coming into today.
Yeah, no, thank you very much, Katla. I think first thing is to pass our condolences to the families of one of the victims that was affected here. We also want to wish a speedy recovery to all those that got injured, who are in hospital, and those who are at home as well. Of course, it's a disaster. I think, as you have correctly indicated, this is a business hive. This time in the morning, taxis are going up and down, ferrying people to work and so forth to their activities. So that has been affected, and the economy obviously is suffering. But I think what is important is to ensure that we safeguard the lives of everyone. The economy, of course, it will be affected, but we can be able to recover. But the lives of our people is more important. So I think it's correct for the authorities to have obviously closed off and ensuring that everybody is safe, so they can be able to assess and make sure that even these buildings that are next to the road, the integrity are being assessed, so that people should not get further impacted. So our role here this morning, I'm with the new caucus leader of Action SA in the city of Johannesburg, Councillor Nobuhle Mthembu. We are doing an oversight. We will be obviously engaging with the authorities, and we know that the city manager is also somewhere in the Joint Operations Center to get an indication of what is their plans and how are they going to be able to deal with this matter as soon as possible. Are they engaging with all the stakeholders, for example, the taxi operators who are regularly operating here, as you spoke about the vendors as well, the residents who are impacted here as well. So ours is to come and do an oversight to check the damage and to obviously, commemorate and pass our condolences to those that are affected. Yeah.
Let us in then really on your understanding of what happened here. We see very well that we're still trying to comb the scene. We're still trying to see really what might have led to what we're seeing happen here today. Other people saying as well that even in the past there have been warnings around activities underground where the alarm bells have been rung before, but we find ourselves here today. Maybe react with us in terms of your understanding and really who should shoulder the blame here if indeed there's someone that is to be held culpable.
Look, I think it's still early for us to really put the blame at anyone, but and the speculations obviously about the gas. I see the Egoli gas is here as well. We'll be following up to check exactly what will have happened. But with all the speculations, Katla, I think one of the things that it's not a speculation is that there is illegal mining happening in the city of Johannesburg. That's a fact. In fact, this closure of the road is not the first one I've seen. If you go to Road Report, just on Main Reef, and you'll see there's a road closure there next to Matolesville. That road was closed around 2017, 2018. Even today, it's still closed. And it's as a result of the illegal mining that is happening. I mean, around the city here, I think if you speak to JRA, they'll tell you how many sinkholes that we have here in the city of Johannesburg, right in the inner city. People digging from the ground, and that has not been dealt with. You know very well that these matters were raised a long time ago by our president, Mr. Herman Mashaba, when he was a mayor. He wrote to the Mineral Affairs Minister, he wrote to Home Affairs to deal with this issue of illegal immigration, because illegal mining is really causing us a lot of problems, and you have seen what happened in Boksburg recently. So there's speculations. We don't want to get to that as well. But what is not speculative is that unfortunately we have really lost the battle against illegal immigration and illegal mining in this country, and we need to make sure that somehow we get back and to the rule of law, because that is not happening currently.
Yeah, and also, as we walk through this stretch of the road, we can sense and smell the gas that is still lingering in the air as we speak right now. And we see that there are still residents. Some of them are still in the buildings. They have not been evacuated. Are you worried about really the structural integrity of some of these buildings and some of those people that are still, in these buildings and not moved from, this area to a safe zone, looking at the fact that we still don't understand what really happened here?
No, absolutely. And those are issues that we're going to raise. Councillor Nobuhle, in her capacity as the caucus leader, will raise with the city manager to check whether there's emergency housing for people that are staying here so that they can be able to be accommodated there. As I said earlier on, the economy will recover, but the lives of the people is more important at this moment. We need to do everything that is possible to make sure that people are evacuated. We don't want a second disaster. We don't want something that will happen, especially as you say, the gas, we can still smell it and so forth. So it's important that we must take precautions, and we're going to engage with the city manager and all the authorities at the Joint Operating Center to check exactly what is their plans in terms of evacuating people here.
Mr. Funzela Ngobeni, thank you very much, sir, for your time this morning, joined by Councillor Nobuhle. Just try by all means to ascertain what happened here. And you can imagine that it's still a disaster. It's chaotic right now in the CBD of Johannesburg. And we've seen just the police maintaining their authority and their presence. But unfortunately, even vendors can't operate this morning. I can't walk now and go get my guinya. It's cold as we speak right now in the city of Johannesburg. But authorities trying by all means to comb the scene and comb the area to try and get to the bottom of what really happened here. Eldrin, it's back to you in studio.
Thank you so much, Katlego Likhodi there, one of our reporters in the Johannesburg CBD, as we look into this incident that happened yesterday, and as authorities also try to get to the bottom of what caused this explosion. It is suspected that it could have been a gas leak. No confirmation around this as yet. But also a quick update as well is that the MEC for Health in Gauteng, that is Nomantung Komoralihuko will be going to the Charlotte Maxeke Johannesburg Academic Hospital, where some of the victims following this incident were being treated. 48 injuries that have been reported. We understand from what the Premier said a bit earlier on today that 12 people remain in hospital. So the MEC on her way there. She's expected to be there at around 11 o'clock. And based on this story, we're asking you this morning, one of the most historically significant streets in the Johannesburg CBD was torn up yesterday, reportedly due to a gas explosion. What do you make of the devastation in the CBD? Let's look at some of the tweets that you've sent through at the agenda_SABC. Kagiso says, in South Africa, anything is possible. This may be related to burning of trucks, which is tantamount to economic sabotage. I think the police should delve into it to find the root cause of it. Papi saying, mornings all. What happened at the Joburg CBD yesterday is very disturbing, to say the least. I just hope those investigating this unfortunate incident will be able to find out what caused it and put measures to avoid it in the future. And this one from Chabiesile, government negligent, no future inspection of old infrastructure, and that's the point that was raised a bit earlier on as well by Ambassador Makubela as we had the conversation of what happened in the Joburg CBD, saying that when it comes to infrastructure and the maintenance of that infrastructure, government is really failing, especially local government.